My name is Linda Walker, and I live in Austin, Texas with my teenage son, Daniel. Life hasn't always been easy for us, especially after my husband passed away 3 years ago. Daniel was only 15 then, and the weight of losing his father left a visible mark on his young heart. I did my best to stay strong for him, holding our little family together. Some nights, though, after he went to bed, I cried quietly in the kitchen, clutching a mug of coffee that had long gone cold. Daniel was a good kid, quiet, thoughtful, and deeply sensitive. He had always been close to his father, spending weekends fishing or working on old cars in the garage. After his father's passing, Daniel became more withdrawn. He still went to school and did his homework, but the spark in his eyes seemed to fade. I prayed every night that he would find a friend, someone to pull him out of that lonely shell. That prayer was answered in an unexpected way when Daniel introduced me to his best friend, Michael. Michael had just moved into our neighborhood with his family from Denver. He was the same age as Daniel, tall with an easy smile, and a laugh that filled our home with warmth I hadn't realized we were missing. The first time Michael came over, I remember hearing their laughter from Daniel's room. It was like music, echoing down the hallway. I leaned against the wall outside, listening, grateful. For the first time in months, Daniel sounded like himself again. I whispered a quiet thank you, knowing that friendship was sometimes the best medicine for grief. As the months went by, Michael became like part of our family. He joined us for dinners, helped me carry groceries, and sometimes even stayed late helping Daniel with school projects. His parents traveled often for work, so our house became his second home. I didn't mind. He was polite, kind, and respectful. Most importantly, he made my son smile again. One evening in November, I had just finished cleaning up the kitchen when I noticed Daniel's bedroom light still glowing under the door. It was past 11 and he had school the next morning. I walked quietly down the hallway, intending to remind him it was bedtime. I knocked softly, but there was no response. Gently pushing the door open, I peeked inside. Daniel was sitting on the floor with Michael, the two of them surrounded by textbooks and crumpled sheets of paper. But they weren't studying. Daniel's face was buried in his hands, shoulders shaking, while Michael sat beside him, an arm draped gently around his back. My heart clenched. Michael looked up, his expression serious yet gentle. "Mrs. Walker," he said quietly, he's having a rough night." Daniel lifted his head, eyes red and puffy. "Mom," he whispered, his voice cracking, "I miss Dad so much." The room blurred as tears filled my own eyes. I had been so busy being strong that I hadn't realized how much pain my son was still carrying. I stepped inside, kneeling down beside them. "Oh, honey," I said softly, wrapping my arms around him. Michael moved back slightly, giving us space, but he didn't leave. He stayed right there, his presence steady and comforting. That night changed everything. It was the first time in a long time that Daniel truly opened up. He talked about how he felt lost without his dad, how he worried he wasn't strong enough, how the silence in the house sometimes felt unbearable. Michael listened with more patience than most adults I knew. He didn't interrupt, didn't try to fix things. He just listened, nodding, occasionally squeezing Daniel's shoulder. As I sat there watching, I realized how rare and precious it was for my son to have a friend like this. Michael wasn't just someone to joke with or play video games alongside. He was someone Daniel could lean on when the weight of the world felt too heavy. From that night onward, I began to see Michael differently. He wasn't just my son's best friend. He was a blessing, an anchor in the storm we had been living through. Winter came, and with it, the holidays. Christmas was always difficult since my husband's passing, but Michael's presence made it lighter somehow. He joined us in decorating the tree, laughing when Daniel accidentally dropped an ornament. On Christmas morning, he even came over with a small gift for me, a scented candle and a handwritten note thanking me for always welcoming him. I cried when I read it. It wasn't just the words, but the thoughtfulness behind them. In Michael, I saw not only a friend for my son, but a reminder of the goodness in people. There were small moments, too, that touched me deeply. Like the time Daniel had a panic attack before a school presentation. I found Michael in the backyard with him, talking him through slow breaths, encouraging him gently. Or the day Daniel failed a math test and wanted to give up, and Michael spent hours helping him review until he understood the material. Daniel started smiling again. He started laughing more freely, his eyes lighting up the way they used to. And while I'd love to think it was just me, I knew Michael had a huge hand in that. One spring afternoon, I sat on the porch watching the boys toss a football back and forth across the yard. The sun was dipping low, painting the sky shades of pink and orange. I thought about the night I had opened Daniel's door to say goodnight, about how that moment revealed just how much Michael meant to him and to us. Sometimes life brings people into our world at exactly the right time. For us, that person was Michael. He helped heal wounds that had felt impossible to mend. He gave Daniel hope, laughter, and the strength to face each day with courage. As for me, he reminded me that family isn't always about blood. Sometimes, it's about love, kindness, and being there when someone needs you most. Even now, years later, when I think back to that night, I realize it wasn't just my son who was changed by his best friend. I was too. Because in Michael, I saw the power of compassion, the gift of true friendship, and the beauty of opening our hearts to others. And I'll always be grateful for the night I opened my son's door to say goodnight, because what I found inside was more than I could have ever hoped for.